Hey everyone, it's time for some more speculation. Today I want to go over the possibilities of us returning to the Battle Isles in the upcoming Guild Wars 2 expansion and some of the story that may be connected to that. But first, let's quickly highlight the new Elite Specialization teasers and the blog post that have been shared. We have this very interesting icon here that features a super cool looking icon, but I'll be completely honest, I'm not 100% sure what it is. To briefly list off some random potentials before my main guess, this kind of gives me a Guardian vibe, only in the sense of it feeling like a Dragon Hunter type of image. It is kind of demonic looking, so maybe it would be some sort of Demon Hunter type of thing. It is also kind of giving Revenant just from the sense of it feeling very heavy and spiky. This is a bit of a recency bias, but it reminds me a bit of Save a Saxum, so maybe we would get another Demon stance, but I would say that is highly unlikely. But what I really think it could be is a Ranger specialization. To me, it feels very bestial with powerful jaws and sharp teeth and intimidating spikes and whatnot. To me, it just feels most like a Ranger specialization, but we will find out soon. We also recently got a blog post, which is an interesting read, and I'll throw a link down in the description. They basically confirmed that these are elite specializations, but will not feature new weapons, and briefly highlighted some strong and weak points of Gen 3 Wilds, and some design philosophies moving forward with the next expansion related to open world content, instance content, competitive content, and so on. The big thing I care about a lot is that they announced the first quarterly update following launch will not feature any new story and will instead focus a lot on upgrading game systems, and then the second and third quarterly updates will feature larger chunks of story with bigger maps. So maybe about the same amount of content as Gen 3 Wilds, but spread across 2 updates instead of 3. And I think that sounds pretty good to me. There are some fun pieces of art from Gen 3 Wilds, but at the very bottom of the page is another new teaser for the next expansion, which features 2 elite specializations, and they are from the original game. One is a Paragon specialization, and the other is a Ritualist one. And this is just super exciting to see. The Paragon one looks to be a warrior that is wielding a spear, which is what I've been thinking about for a bit now. I think this is definitely the Helmet Elite specialization teaser we saw earlier, and I think that this specialization would definitely fit thematically well with the Warrior's Land Spear that was added with Gen 3 Wilds. The Ritualist is a little more interesting because I don't think we have gotten the Elite Specialization icon teaser for this one just yet, and based on this teaser, it seems like it will be a Necromancer Elite Specialization, which I thought was maybe a bit of a stretch at first, but I think it will fit decently well mechanically and thematically with what we have seen with the Necromancer throughout Guild Wars 2. Now, onto the Battle Isles. This was a pretty important place in the original Guild Wars. This is an archipelago found between Centrateria and Cantha, which was the home of the Zaician Order, devout followers of the human god Balthazar. Mechanically, the Battle Isles was the big PvP area in the original Guild Wars, where it was the only place that PvP-only characters could explore, and it is where all players could queue into most of the PvP content in Guild Wars. It was also a pretty important place to pick up Zaician missions at Embark Beach, which anyone who has played a lot of Guild Wars will be very familiar with. Plus there is some other stuff happening here, like the Commando April Fool's Joke quests that take place here every year. With Zaitan rising ore out of the waters and causing a tsunami that devastated Alliance Arch, Kaining, and other places, the Battle Isles was a victim of that tsunami, where everything on it was basically wiped out and the islands sunk beneath the waves. So since the original Guild Wars, there hasn't really been anything present on the Battle Isles for us to go to. But that means that there's a lot of opportunity for there to be stuff for us to interact with, and we could see the Battle Isles are maybe a little bit bigger than when we see them on the map nowadays, since a lot of time has passed since Zaitan. There's also the matter of the Zaician, where we interacted with them a lot throughout the Path of Fire expansion and the Living World Season 4, originally serving as enemies, but eventually as incredibly important allies, with their new leader Zephyr being one of our close friends. They mostly have a stake in Alona nowadays, and the last we really heard about them was in the Ender Dragons expansion, where it seems like the organization is alive and well, with Zephyr at the helm. If we are to return to the Battle Isles in a future expansion, it would definitely make a lot of sense to return to some Path of Fire themes, with the Zaician coming back into the story, where maybe we help out the Zaician and maybe some other Alonian factions with reclaiming the Battle Isles. There could be a lot of secrets related to the human gods on the Battle Isles that are important for whatever story. I've talked a lot about the possibility of Mingus being an important character in this upcoming expansion, which, let's be honest, he isn't even going to be mentioned at all. But if you do focus on Mingus and maybe a Shadow Army, Human Gods, and Demon storyline that I really feel like we're going to be experiencing, a location that was completely dedicated to Balthazar Mingus' counterpart, would definitely be a sensible location to visit and could be written in whatever way ArenaNet needs for the story they will be telling. Alongside the god storylines on the Battle Isles, we could see some more story related to the Unchained, since there's probably a large undead presence on the Isles, if counting is anything to go by, and if not many people have been to the Isles to cull the hordes of undead. We might see some Cantha influences given the fact that Cantha is so close to the Battle Isles. If the boat in the Elite Specialization concept art is indeed a Canthan boat, that would be an easy tie-in for us, especially since that concept art does slightly resemble the Battle Isles. This could also potentially be a good opportunity for some pirate or corsair storylines, and maybe a big focus on underwater themes. A lot of people have wanted a revamp on underwater content, which is honestly unlikely to happen, but if you do return to the Battle Isles, utilizing the total geographical space of the region, which features a lot of water, would be important in order to flesh out maps that could take place here. And honestly, I could realistically see the Battle Isles only being one big map, where maybe we drive around to different isles on our skiff with a revamped skiff in the upcoming expansion. I could potentially see it being split into two, but that seems less likely for me. Maybe we will start the next expansion in the Battle Isles, but then continue to a different area for the second map, and into the third and fourth maps. A big theme connected to both the gods, if we do focus on them, and also something we saw in Janther Wilds, was the Bloodstones. We have one big area left in the Ring of Fire island chain that features the Bloodstone that we explored during the original Guild Wars. So maybe we begin with returning to the Battle Isles with the Zaishin to reclaim their homeland and help out an important member of the Terran Alliance, suddenly discover Mingus has arrived in Tyria with his Shadow Army, and we begin dealing with him, where we figure out he is heading to the Bloodstone in the Ring of Fire to do something similar to what Balthazar did and consume its powers, where we chase after him and explore the Ring of Fire. Then in the post-release content, maybe we see some story arise from the aftermath of our battle, or we just stalled Mingus and have to go visit another Bloodstone like the one in the Shiver Peaks or the Keystone with wherever it was taken by the Mersat. I'm a little hazy on that part of the story, it might be somewhere in Balvanisos. Maybe we could also just see some general island hopping in this expansion, and maybe we'll go to some of the islands in the Sea of Sorrows for the post-release content, and maybe even explore the Dominion of Winds. Or maybe we'll just continue in a straight line north and explore the Alcasia Tangle along the Tarnished Coast and further in towards Tangled Route between Tangled Depths and Meteor Province. Who knows? The possibilities are truly endless. One additional wild idea that we may see some connection to are the trading routes of Tyria. With the map in the Durman Priory, we see some important trading routes from Commodon to Lion's Arch to Kining City and then to the Battle Isles, with the Battle Isles being the center of those 3 locations, which were the biggest locations in the original Guild Wars. But then continuing from the Battle Isles and going west away from the other 3, we see a trading route leading to the Sunken Islands, as well as to one in the southern peninsula in Sunrise Crest. 2 completely unknown areas on Tyria that we know basically nothing about, that players have been speculating about for a very, very long time. And honestly, maybe this Elite Specialization art is straight up hinting to one of these areas, or maybe any other area on Tyria that we really know nothing about. And it would definitely be incredible to explore one of these areas in an upcoming expansion, but maybe the Battle Isles as a location could be laying the foundations for us to go visit those areas. A lot of people have been talking about the possibilities of a Guild Wars 3 to be announced in the not so distant future, and maybe this expansion located in the Battle Isles could even be an opportunity to transition us into a Guild Wars 3 that either leaves Central Tyria behind for a completely brand new location for players to experience as basically a fresh IP but still set in the pre-existing IP, or to be a location that is a big part of and a major player alongside everything else we have experienced in the Guild Wars franchise, which just serves to add a lot of new opportunities for a potential Guild Wars 3. Brand new continents with brand new races and factions and civilizations and environments and so on and so forth. Like I've said to many other things, the possibilities are truly endless. If we do head towards the Battle Isles in the next expansion, I do think there are a lot of opportunities to create what is a pretty great and cohesive story, while also potentially being an opportunity to really build up a massive future story or a completely new game altogether. I am really excited to see what happens. And that is really everything I have to say about the Battle Isles. This is one of the most popular places that people have speculated about, and I can definitely see it happening, but I can also see everything else I've talked about happening as well. As always, let me know what you think down in the comments. I hope you are taking great care of yourselves, Have a good one, everyone.